Welcome back to DSO Live at Orchestra Hall, Detroit. I'm your host for this weekend of concerts, Alexander Platt. Now, just up the road on Woodward Avenue at the Detroit Institute of Arts, Michiganders by the thousands have been flocking to see a beautiful exhibition of paintings by the French Impressionist genius Claude Monet. And here at Orchestra Hall, we're in week 2 of our Festival of French Music. You can learn more by logging on to dso.org/FrenchFest. And here once again to join me in conversation from the University of Michigan is French culture and music scholar Kristen Clough. Great to see you again, Kristen.
Nice to be back.
Now, the first work on this afternoon's program is a piece that I, like many Americans, just grew up with, courtesy of my third grade music teacher, and a certain animated film by Walt Disney called Fantasia. Now, the work at hand is one of the, to be perfectly serious, one of the great French late Romantic tone poems, The Sorcerer's Apprentice by Paul Dukas. Tell me, did Walt Disney basically get it right in making his animated film?
Surprisingly, or not surprisingly, if you know the rich history of Disney interacting with classical music, they did a really good job. Paul Dukas based this piece on a ballad by the German poet Goethe, and the basic plot of Goethe's Sorcerer's Apprentice is this apprentice is left alone and spells a broom to carry his water for him, as we would all do if we were left alone.
Well, he didn't have Alexa or Google.
No, he didn't have Alexa or Google,
himself.
so he spells his broom to carry his water, but he forgets how to shut it off. And even chopping apart the brooms, they multiply ad infinitum, and a great mess is created. I think one of the things that doesn't come across as clearly in the Disney that I think Dukas captures really beautifully in his music are these moments of forgetting. Because in the Goethe, it's very clear that what Mickey Mouse has forgotten is the magic word to stop the brooms. And in Dukas, from moment to moment, you'll hear these places where he's lilting along through his incantation and then, oh, I've forgotten the word. And it's, I think, a really juicy moment of the score.
I mean, this really is, again, it's just easy to kind of forget. It's just, this really is a work of genius. I mean, Dukas, he sets out a goal and he fulfills it absolutely perfectly. And it's a work just for musical reasons I've always loved. Now, we follow that with our wonderful twins, Christina and Michelle Naughton, who did such a splendid job just the last 2 days with the Poulenc Concerto for 2 pianos, now to play one of the other great French works for 2 pianos and small orchestra, the Carnival of the Animals by Camille Saint-Saëns. Now, this is a very curious work because I get the impression Saint-Saëns did not exactly want this to become popular during his lifetime.
Exactly. Saint-Saëns did not allow the work to be performed in its entirety during his lifetime. In fact, his will stipulated the release of the work. He really feared that this lighthearted piece might harm his reputation as a serious composer, and it might overshadow his work. And in some ways, it has become one of his most popular and well-known pieces, but I think we don't hold it against him because we love this piece so much.
Exactly. Now, I'm told that Maestro Slatkin's going to have some fun and games of his own with the performance of Carnival of the Animals today, but it's interesting how, is there like a particularly French tradition of writing music about the animal kingdom?
Yes, definitely. I think animals are evoked very frequently throughout the history of French music. You might look at an older piece, Jeannequin, Réveil d'Oiseau, for some wonderful bird sounds. Of course, Rameau is a master of bird sounds as well. And there's also this deep love of the fables of La Fontaine, a little bit like Aesop for Americans, and this anthropomorphizing of animals to entertain us and to teach us lessons.
So it's a beautiful ancient French tradition going back to fairy tales and of course their great love of cataloging the images of birds especially, but all in the animal kingdom. Well, I just want to say that both these Dukas and Saint-Saëns works have such great associations for us, in America, growing up from our earliest days as children. But it's always important to remember just what great music they are. And I think this performance, especially with the Naughton twins, such splendid pianists, I think it's going to bring that out to the full. And again, we'll be starting with, though, this amazing Sorcerer's Apprentice by Paul Dukas. And Kristen, I just want to thank you again for your wonderful insights on these scores. And now it's time to enjoy our first half. Christina and Michelle Naughton piano, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, Maestro Leonard Slatkin, and music of Paul Dukas and Camille Saint-Saëns.